If you're in Nigeria, you already know what this is. And if you're not, this is puff puff. Now, my Nigerian folks will agree with me that you probably see a woman sell this in front of your street. She's going to put it inside the black nylon for you, and you're going to take it either to work or to home or whatever. This is puff puff. Now, imagine puff puff became a modern dessert brand. Sometime last year, a client reached out to me and she told me that she wanted to modernize Puff Puff to something fun, experience driven, and stylish. And that's how Puff's Desserts was formed. In this video, I'm going to show you how we worked on the brand identity for Puff's Desserts from ideation and brief collection to what it is now as a strong, active, and alive brand. Join me as we continue. Okay, so let's get into how we started working on Puffs. Now, the first thing that we do, just like we usually do, is to send a questionnaire to the client. And now, this questionnaire basically asks the client about everything we need to know about the brand. Here's how we get this document that you're seeing on your screen right now, is that we copy everything in the questionnaire and send it to ChatGPT and tell it to bring it out as a document. This questionnaire is available. If you use the link in the description, you can get the questionnaire template for yourself and use it for your client. It is very, very comprehensive. And so there's two parts of this questionnaire. The first part talks about the brand and what the brand is about. So questions like, what's the brand name, what does your business do, what unique story is behind your business name, and how was your business and why does your business start, where did the idea come from, you understand? So we want to know things like that. Then we go down to knowing things like what the main business goals of the business is, and another very important thing that we want to talk about, we'll try to talk about it like as we go on the video, is what their three top competitors are. And so for Puffs, it was for Puff Ministry, for Puff Man, and Love Churros. I think we really majored on Love Churros when we were working on this brand. And I think another thing you also want to know is I think it's here. Yeah. Another thing you want to know is, where is that? What I wanted to talk about was the personality of the brand, because this is where you actually really come in. So I think this is where it is. Question 15, where we ask questions like, what message do you want to convey to your customers? What do you want your customers to feel? And so for Puffs, they wanted their customers to feel delighted, seen, represented, curious. Then another thing that I think is also very important for you to understand is who the brand is for. Okay, yeah. Before we go to who the brand is for, you want to see the core values: creativity, cultural pride, quality. So in case you don't know what I'm reading from, it's here, and things like that. You get joy and community. So obviously, Puff Puff had to talk about community, because Puff Puff is something that is known by a large community of people, in Nigeria and Africa. Then now, this is where I talked about concerning the target audience. So they're answering the question of the ideal customer. Ideal customer is students, young professional, Afro diaspora families, global foodies, event hosts, party planners, pop-up goers, Gen Z and millennial with mid-level disposable income. You get. So there's a lot that we had to ask and get from the client and basically study as we work on the brand. Alright guys, this is me begging. Please, if you are watching this video and you feel like this guy is doing an amazing job, just do well to click the subscribe button. Subscribe, share this video to somebody, watch this video to the end. You know that we are almost at getting monetized. I know that people are looking at my channel and saying this guy has 2,000 subscribers, he's definitely monetized and making money from this stuff. No, I am not. I need to get my watch time up, and that's why hopefully by God's grace I'm going to be creating more videos now, because I don't know, maybe my life is freer now or something. But yeah, please, if you see my videos, watch, go back, watch more videos. They're going to really help you. Let's get this monetized even before the end of March. Yeah, have an amazing day. Alright, immediately after the questionnaire, we have a call with the client to make sure that we understand what the client is saying even further. So we ask the client questions that they've already answered in different ways, so that we can make sure that the answers are still aligning and we know what to capitalize on based on the client's impressions and the way they stress on some things. And so that's going to lead us to create and present the next document, which is the visual strategy and creative direction document. And so in this document, you're basically saying, okay, after all we've talked about, we want to give you our research and give you some mood board options here, so we can align visually for us to be able to create a logo for you. So we don't just jump to Illustrator or Figma or Affinity to create logos. We want to first of all align visually, and this process actually took time because I had to do it twice. Now, this is the brand story, basically presenting the brand back to you again. And another thing we carefully did in this document is the use of images. This document is also going to be available with the link in my description, but it's only going to be available for those who use Figma, so that you can download and use for your client. Yeah. And so we want to highlight some keywords and adjectives. These things were basically what the clients gave us, but we're giving it back to you so that you can see whether this will get it right or not. You get. Then another thing we're going to do is, based on the competitors that the clients gave us, like competitors, we're going to do like some study, understand the strength, weakness of the brand, and take down some notes. So we did one more competitor aside the one that the client gave us, which is Papa's Grill. Papa's Grill is a brand located in Nigeria. It's different because the rest of them are brands located in the UK. Puff Puff Ministry and Puff Puff Man, as well as Love Churros. So yeah, Papa Grill. So we did this, and we also did the tone of voice, so that we're also aligning in terms of the way the client wants to sound as a business. So we're looking at edgy, casual, playful, or you get. So then we had this idea of using these bars, and I think just for reference sake, this document was referenced from someone else, and I just like to give credit to people that we reference stuff from here. And Adrian, shout outs to you. All right, so yeah, in order to help the client understand where our mind is at in terms of how we feel the brand should be expressed in terms of tone of voice. Yeah, I'm going to still come back to all of this because we had to do it again. So yeah, this was the first mood board that we chose, something around sweet sophistication. So when we say sweet sophistication, we are saying something that is playful, clean, at the same time it's giving some level of premium vibes. And yeah, we explained how this works in terms of the style of the typography and the use of like elements like this and that all around. So basically it's just the vibe of the brand. Then we had the second mood board that is more of like playful indulgence. So we see the use of sketches, we see the use of bold fonts, we see the use of these illustrations that are very fun, and they are not even anywhere near premium and whatnot. They are more of playful, they are more of casual, you get, and they are more of edgy, not elegant, you get. And so when we had a call with the client to review this document that we have sent to the client gave some feedback, and I'm going to show you the feedback in the next document. And so here's the document that we now brought back to the client. Now you see the keywords has increased because the client had more things to say concerning the keywords, and some of the things actually even changed. And we also moved down to the tone of voice, and some things changed, some things added. So let's go back to the previous document. So this is how the previous document was, so that you see the change in the tone of voice. Yeah. So in the previous document, we were on playful. In this document now, it was in between playful and serious. So it's not too playful, not too serious, you get. Now it is more casual. Now it is more formal, sorry. And in the previous document, it's still the same thing. You get, so just subtle change like that. I think this one, trendy and traditional, I think it's still the same thing in the next document. Trendy is in between trendy and traditional. So it's more elegant than it's edgy. So that's what the client is going for. She wants something that is warm. She wants something that is not too loud, not too soft. Something that is more mature than youthful, you get. And so this also meant that we are going to refine the mood board. And so we came back with one very strong mood board that we titled Boldly Sweet. So this is what it looks like. So it's sort of like a combination of both of them, but it's more on the bold side of things, you get. All right, if you're watching this video before the 17th and the 18th of April and you're in the city of Port Harcourt, you want to use the first link in the description below to register for a free physical class I have coming up. And so this class is titled Design Sprints. It's all about helping designers who are in their beginning phases or mid-level to become professionals. If you struggle with clarity, professionalism, strategy, and structure, this class is for you. I've got speakers who are designers and speakers who are business experts. They are coming to help you. This is a free class. All you just have to do is register. So yeah, I'd love to see each and every one of you and connect with you. See you in class. And so when we presented this visual direction and strategy to the client, she really loved it because she said that we took back all her feedbacks and we implemented them. So we received a check and approval to go and create logos. Now, here are the logos that we created. Logo options. This is another document that is available. If you use the link below and you get it to be able to edit and send out to your client. Just by the way, as an agency, we use Figma to work. And so yeah, this is how we introduce concept one. Get ready. This is concept one. So first of all, we put it like mock-ups to brace you up to see the logo being used in real life. And so this is the first logo option. The first logo option is basically the use of a bold and fluffy typeface that visually represents puff puff. And then we added these coils which give the accent of like, when you're making puff puff and there's like the smoke coming out. So that's freshly made big aroma stuff. That's what we are trying to communicate with these coils, and still sort of like elegance and whatnot. So we just had puffs as something that was highlighted, then desserts going through. And so this is the brand in action. This is how it's going to be used. Puffs desserts. This is like, so it's more of like a landscape kind of logo. Then it also came with a mascot. Now I think this is one that the client loved very well, because the mascot is like a visual representation of what the brand is about. And so we wanted the mascot that looked like puff puff. It's not just going to be round, but because puff puff a lot of the times, if you agree with me that puff puff a lot of the times is imperfect, not everybody gets it right. And that's what we love about it. That's how you know that it's puff puff. That's how it usually is being made. So we just thought of like, doing this illustration with sort of like curved, roughy edges and dots here and there to elicit and try to like depict the nature of puff puff and to make it cool. But what else is cooler than adding an eyeglass to it? So the logo exists both with the mascot and without the mascot. You're going to see this mascot in use in real life. I think I can put it on the screen right now. It's really magnificent. And so this is the icon mark for this first logo option. And this is the second. This is this option still being used in like mock-ups to basically show you how it's going to be used. Then another thing I didn't talk about in this option is this in both of them, but we started creating illustrations. So illustrations like spoon with puff puff inside, a bowl with puff puff inside, a puff puff. Because she wanted to make it modernized, we added like puff puff and whipped cream, like you can see here. So that's like part of the things that she told us that she's going to do as an offering, as a brand offering here. So this is the second one. This one is also fluffy, but it shows both the two of them. Then another thing that it also highlights is because puff puff is usually eaten well when it's hot. So we thought to play with the idea of somebody not being patient enough to wait for the puff puff to be cold and takes a bite off. And so we took a bite off the pea, and we basically attached it with the bubbly font. And this is what the brand looks like. So the P and the D, this one has like the dessert written out even more, Puffs dessert. And see the use of it with the mascot. See how we also use the other illustration elements that we had created for the brand. Because we wanted this brand to be fun, elegant and stylish, we had to do a lot to get illustrations and whatnot. And use of colors, like we didn't just use 3 colors for this brand because it needed to shout. Not too loud though, but it's going to, we wanted something that is hard to ignore. That's I think that's what we're going for. Then this is it being used in terms of mock-ups, so you basically understand. And after this, the client had the feedback that she liked the second one, but can we do more with it? And I think we sat on this for a couple of days and we now presented another option. So this is the logo revisions, and so we moved it from this to this. What changed? We still wanted to stress on the idea of someone not being able to wait for the puff to get cold in order to take a bite, and so we added the bite on a couple more letters in the puff. I think this stood out very well for the client, that she really loved it and she wanted to retain the logo. All right, so at this point we had already finalized on the logo, finalized on what the mascot should look like, what the element should look like. What's the next thing? We're about to go into the brand guide, and we are taking a couple of time on this logo, and the client called and she said, Increase, we need to start working on packaging. I know you want to work on the brand guide so that it can lead to the rest of the things. We had already started working on the brand guide, but we are not done with it. So we started working on packaging because the brand needed to launch and they needed to use a lot of this packaging. And so yeah, we started working on the first package, and here's what it looks like. So yeah, the first packaging was two boxes that the client needed to package for puff and other things that she was selling. So this is the first one. This is what the dial line looks like. So if you don't know, a dial line is like a document that you have to, a design that you have to create, where like when you're doing packaging, the packaging is going to be flat. I mean, the design is going to be flat so that the printer is going to print it out and they can be able to assemble it together. So this is what it looks like in diagram format, and this is what it looks like in mockup. This image is not really clear because we're still using the free version of Pacadora. This is not an advertisement to them, but they did an amazing job to help us bring to life as in exact dimensions of what we are looking for, so the client can be able to visualize it even before going to print. And so yeah, this is what it looks like. And she wanted that hole in the middle of this pop-off, so that in the middle of this box, so that she can be able to see, I mean the client can be able to see what is inside the box. And so there's a second option of the box without the hole in the middle, and this is what it looks like. Yeah, hope you liked it. You can go back again to it. Hope you still have time. Yeah, and after this we have to work on another packaging. And so this packaging was one of a paper bag that the clients can give to her customers when they buy stuff from the store. And yeah, this was going to look like in real life. So there is just another thing that we worked on, and we're going to talk about it, is we worked on the verbal identity. So we started working on phrases for the brand, things that people can use to remember the brand, like from street vibes to sweet vibes. You know, it was a conversion of making puff puff modernized. So yeah, that's where the idea came from. Yeah, thank you and whatnot. So the third one was something a little bit, because it was a pouch bag for chin chin, because the client also wanted not to just limit it to making puff puff. Yes, yeah, but that's where the origin of the brand is. And so this is what it's going to look like on a pouch for the brand. Yeah, I think this came out really nice. So yeah, we then went on to go and work on the brand guide, and let me show you what it looks like. Alright, so this is the verbal identity. We're talking about brand offerings, target audience, still target audience, personality, brand personality. So yeah, we just copied and pasted the tone of voice that we had already worked on, brand taglines, and this is the logo. We're explaining what the logo is about, giving even more explanation. The logo suite, the extended, compact, and brand mark. Then we're still talking about clear space and colors. You see how amazingly freshly and softly looking the brand is, even stylish. So we're talking about the brand mascot in this part of the brand guide. We're even talking about the color usage. Now this is up to typography. We felt like one font that we could use to depict the brand properly was Ribbon, as well as using Fridoka for the body typeface. And yeah, I think it's really amazing. So this is the color system. These are the 6 colors that exist in the brand, as well as the color pairing. This is what it should look like when you're pairing the colors on any design or print you get. Yeah, so these are the usage rules. These are the colors that have more usage capacity or whatever. Then these are the ones that have lower. And yeah, these are the illustrations of the brand. This is the brand pattern. This is what the photography should look like for the brand. So if you're taking images or videos, it should give off this vibe: warm, inviting, delightful, expressive, shareable, that kind of thing. Yeah, and so this is what it looks like for social media, Instagram highlights, and this is what Instagram story could look like, as well as Instagram designs. And yeah, this is what banners are going to look like. And these are basically just mock-up applications that help you express the brand even more. Yeah, I think we did really did an amazing job, and we sent this to the client and they loved it. Yeah, I'm going to end this video by basically showing you different applications of the brand. I'm not talking about like mock-ups, I'm talking about real life images that the brand has. And you can go on our Instagram as well as Puff's Instagram to see how the brand is being used in real life. Let me know what you think about the brand and the work that we did. If it resonates with you, if you learned a thing or two, let me know in the comment section. See you on the next video. Peace out.